Hey everybody, welcome back. We're playing The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We've been, like, having some great runs. Tainted Bethany to Megastan. Honestly, Megastan, I don't even call it Megastan anymore. Nor do I call it Mega Satan. I just call it, The Way. Because apparently, that's where we're always going. It's an interesting question, right? Like, by the way, we should use Leamington on rooms that have good item pools, or at least, like, high damage item pools. Torn Photo is a beautiful start here. Like, this is incredible. But it's like, it's a question, right? Is Bethany better than Tainted Bethany? Because you can store red hearts, which are more prevalent, which is important because that allows you to have a lot more, like, you know, ability to survive. Or is Tainted Bethany better because red hearts show up so much more often? The majority of the time, they're kind of useless for you if you're already at full HP. And then, on top of that, you get to charge up your Leamingtons here. It's an interesting question. I know what you're probably thinking, and I apologize. If you feel super seen right now, I apologize. But you might just do the intellectually dishonest thing, which is try to take the intellectual high ground by saying, like most things, it's probably somewhere in the middle. I don't know if that's... I think that's a heuristic. You know, if you have two people who feel very strongly on opposing sides of an issue, it's possible that the reality of the situation is somewhere in the middle. It's also possible that one person feels... Sure. Oh my god, that's so good. It's also possible that one person feels very strongly that, you know, acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared, and another person feels that gravity doesn't exist, and it's just, you know, a... you got flubber on your shoes that's keeping you locked to the Earth's surface. So just because two people feel differently about an issue, I would say it certainly does not mean that it must be somewhere in the middle. I think that's it's one of the most insidious biases. I'm gonna try. We've had such good luck on this floor, like why wouldn't we give it a shot, right? And we're not trying to pop all our Leamingtons yet. I feel like I mean, we got a ways to go until we see our first angel room, probably. So a part of me is like, save up till you get to your angel rooms and just use the Leamington charges you earn naturally through gameplay. And another part of me is saying, nah, man, pop them all on this boss room just to get, like, as strong as possible. The boss pool is probably a little better, or even a lot better than the item room pool. Don't even try. I don't want to lose any of these wisps. Although, to be honest with you, our best items are not in wisp form. Alf is back, though. In Pog form. Still didn't lose? You piece. Still haven't lost a wisp somehow, but that just means more of them are close to death on the next floor. Anyway, I'm feeling great today. I did, and just don't ask me why, okay? Blow a kiss and say goodbye. I'll make it this time. Caffeination. I'm ready to cross that fine line. Learn to work the microphone. You know what I'm talking about? That's Deacon Blues by Steely Dan. Great song. Anybody else crawling like a viper through these suburban streets? Or just me? That's very Chib energy. I apologize, but also you're welcome. I'm feeling great today, and eating good in the neighborhood. I should not be fighting like this, but it's kind of hard not to, honestly. Had a really good Slay the Spire run. You know, win, lose, or draw, we're learning stuff in the process of playing it, which is very important. Hey, look, it's something, man. It's something, I guess. I don't think I should be really getting poops here, but, you know, I guess it is what it is. We're just waiting for these Leamington charges to stack up. So Wednesday, I like the midpoint of a week, you know? I mean, I'll be honest, like, none of my week is that stressful from the perspective of, like, oh, there's, like, a lot of, like, oh, there's a lot riding on this stream. Which is, and I'm being sincere when I say this, but is probably, like, a sign that I should do some more creative stuff. But also, like, My ability to actually put in hours is okay right now, even with the baby. But my ability to, like, very reminiscent boss fight, by the way, but feeling like I have the space to be creative is a little low, but we'll get there. But Monday's always, like, a little bit of a stress. Just because React Court always, you got to be delicate in the way that you respond to situations. You know, you're not just playing video games and hoping for the best. You know, you're dealing with people's livelihoods. Well, not really, but just take me down. Let's get to this angel statue as fast as possible. You're dealing with people's feelings at the very least. And we had a sponsored thing, which is always, you know, you want to be a little bit more... Sure, why not? You want to be a little bit more on for the sponsored stuff. Not to say you give it more attention, but like the stakes are a little higher, I'd say. And then yesterday, man, just had a great stream. WarioWare, Sporkle quizzes, Potion Crafter, Alchemist Simulator, and Chessplosion. So we'll probably be a little bit more low-key on today's stream, just because like we did what we always do, which is like there's no new games, and then like in one day I played all the new games, and now I'm like, okay, more WarioWare maybe. Don't judge me, by the way, but last night while setting videos, I had a lot to set. I did watch Dumb and Dumber 2, and I was under no false pretense that this movie had any chance to be good. I had heard that it's one of the worst movies ever made. Bizarrely... Okay. I don't even know what that does, to be honest. Bizarrely, it's the second sequel to Dumb and Dumber. Comedy sequels already tend to be really bad. Most of the time. I mean, like, there's not many movies... Like, there's action movies and you know, sci-fi and stuff like that where the sequel is good, perhaps even better than the original. Terminator 2 is an example that comes up a lot. You know, Aliens. Obviously, I always default back to, like, Marvel stuff, but, like, the second Captain America is so much better than the first one that it's, like, mind-blowing. It happens. But in a comedy situation, I really can't think... Like, most comedies don't get sequels to begin with because they tend not to... you know, print money at the box office. It takes like it's like a once every several years. I hate that, unfortunately. Well, I don't know, maybe we prefer that to the Pokeball. It's a once every several years sort of situation, it seems, like where there's a movie that's like so funny, you have to go see it in the theaters right now, right? I'm not suggesting it doesn't happen, just that it happens with irregularity. That's the good stuff right there, man. Don't try to hit me. And this is where we want to see an angel deal, by the way. And then we pop as many charges of Leamington as we can, which I think will be 2, but still, that's something. Like, I'm trying to think, even when it comes to comedy sequels, like, there's not a whole lot of examples, you know? There's the Hangover kind of spawned a franchise. I'm sure there's some that are... Oh, man, this is kind of sick, actually. I'm sure there's some that are kind of, like, fallen by the wayside in my brain right now. Mr. Dolly's good stuff, too. But The Hangover 1, it's a good movie. At the time that it came out, it was great. I'm not saying it sucks now, just that, like... You know, they kind of sold out their legacy for money, which is actually fine. Like, I'm not trying to rag on them. It's not like The Hangover 1, oh my god, was originally like this incredible, like, arty movie. It was just a funny movie that came out at the right time for that kind of movie to hit, right? Regular Mr. Dolly, would you look at that? Don't mind if I do. We don't really need that spirit heart anymore. This run is really good, and is not fragile right now either, which is nice. But Hangover 2 is a slap in the face. Hangover 3, I only saw like the first little bit. When Zach Galifianakis is driving a giraffe down the freeway, and, you know, the giraffe head hits an overpass and, like, it dies. Again, much like Dirty Grandpa, it's not one of those things where I'm like, that's so offensive. It's more just like, What happened to this franchise, man? You used to, you know, it was just a bunch of guys at a bachelor party that went wrong. And then, from that point on, it became like, okay, we're gonna do the exact same movie again, but this time in Thailand. And then the third one is like, it's like a caricature. I mean, I guess you shouldn't expect any different, but... I'm trying to think of other comedy. Like, Zoolander 2 is absolutely horrible. Bizarrely, Anchorman 2 might be one of the best sequels to a comedy. And Anchorman 2 is really not good, in my opinion, at least. I remember, I really liked Anchorman 1. I was 16 when it came out. I saw it in theaters. It's like the perfect situation, right? And at the height of Will Ferrell's, like, comedic powers. Crystal ball. I hate that I lost the wisps by standing there, but... so, like, keep in mind, he's also in Zoolander, so... I was primed to enjoy it, right? And then, like, man, oh man. Anchorman 2 I saw on a plane. That's a weird one, too, because, like, Anchorman 1 was relatively... Critics were somewhat pleased with it. Not amazing, but, like, somewhat pleased. When the sequel came out, I was expecting it to be panned, because comedy sequels just have that reputation. It was at the... I don't know anymore, but at the time of its release, people were like, this is a pleasant return to the world of Ron Burgundy. And then, like, I watched it on a plane and was like, you are so wrong. It's stunning. Now, everybody has their divergences from the critics. You know, some people diverge 100%. I'm not one of... Okay, well... I'm not one of those people. I tend to agree probably like 70% of the time. This is one of the times where I was like, you're way off. Anyway, and I mean, you can think of some other examples. Like, a Scary Movie is just weird, right? I apologize for waxing, you know, so poetic about Scary Movie over and over and over again, like a Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah song, but it's an interesting franchise in that, like, it's a parody, but it spawned 5 sequels, which is almost easy enough to parody in and of itself. What the? You see how fast he is? We got golden bombs. You gotta use those. You gotta use those, man. Dude, get out of here. You're a freaking psycho. What are you... Look at this. Anyway, Scary Movie 1 is like is okay. You know, it's offensive, don't get me wrong, but it's okay. Scary Movie 2 is not good, but also, I guess you gotta kind of say, within the context of comedy sequels, it could be worse. And then the best movie in the franchise, I don't know, stop me here, I haven't seen Scary Movie 5 yet, but Scary Movie 3 is the best movie in the franchise, which that does not happen frequently. Let me out. Leamington, let me out. Okay, mom's purse. We got so many charges. No, it's not necessary. We store all our hearts anyway, and we can't use them to begin with. You know what? What about a regular judgment here? Dumb and Dumber. I actually think it's a good movie. And I don't think that's a surprise. It's considered one of those, you know, like classic 90s Jim Carrey comedies. If we're talking Jim Carrey comedies, you know, I would say, for me personally, The Cable Guy is... I don't know if it's why I saw it at, like, a formative time in my life, but The Cable Guy is, like, it's up there. I really look at Jim Carrey, he's kind of like an Adam Sandler type when it comes to his movies. Like, you can kind of judge somebody's age by the first Jim Carrey movie they saw where they were not like, this is hilarious. Ignoring stuff like, you know, like The Majestic, where he plays like a movie theater owner who's being investigated by Senator Joseph McCarthy for suspicions of harboring communist sympathies. I can tell you, I loved pretty much every Jim Carrey movie I saw, and it was the early to mid 90s, so cut me some slack here. Up until I saw Bruce Almighty in theaters, and I don't even think the movie's that bad, right? But I saw Bruce Almighty in theaters. Let's go! And I just, as a 15 or 16-year-old, I said to myself, you know what? Well, goodbye, Wisps. I said to myself, maybe this is where I get off. Maybe this is where I get off the Jim Carrey movie train. think for other people, you know, it might have been like, you know, Fun with Dick and Jane, which came out like a year after that, or it might have been Yes Man. A lot of people in my chat still go to bat for Yes Man, I'll admit, but okay, hold on. This is what it's all about right here. This seems pretty good. This seems pretty good. I'm not worried about this at all. Okay, take me down. Smart strategy, by the way. One moment here, I'm checking on something. I realize this is the weird video where I haven't actually made a point, but I feel like the banter's been kind of engaging in spite of that. Genuinely just been spinning my wheels the whole time, but it's fun. What was I talking about a sec? Oh, Jim Carrey. Yeah. And of course, look, you can't talk about Jim Carrey without talking about stuff like The Truman Show. Obviously an amazing movie. I'll take Book of Belial here. That appeals to me. Just try not to actually walk into enemies. Like, our wisps are super nice for us right now. Don't even worry about the sword. Just try to get revelations to pop. And keep your wisps alive as long as possible. And then we'll love life. And maybe we'll get it, maybe we'll get to another angel deal right off the bat. The faster we get to these angel deals, the more likely I would say it is that these things survive even longer. The wisps, that is. It's kind of hard to aim revelations. By which I mean, oh, dude, the sword works with Angelic Prism. That's interesting. You know what? Let's use it. Because it messes with your head. The way that you lock in with Spirit Sword is the direction that the sword shoots, and you can't change that. It appears, at least. I haven't used this too much. Please. There we go. I think we can pivot our directional shooting with the Revelations laser, though. There we go. This is the kind of room we're like looking for more on. Anyway, and of course, did I say Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Didn't see it in theaters, but would have. It was in that weird period of my life, and I don't know if every teenager had a time like this. That weird period of my life, you know, between like 14 and 16, where I had different media tastes than my parents, but also the inability to get myself to a movie theater because I didn't have a driver's license. So, and especially some of these movies, like I really wanted to see Garden State. You know, I wore my iTunes out watching the Garden State trailer. Excuse me, too busy writing your tragedy, just miss out the bummer after. You know, anyway, I wore iTunes out, man. Just watching that on repeat over and over and over. Wanted to go see the movie when it was in theaters, August 2004. Was unable to because it was like this was a time when, like, honestly, a service like Netflix would have frickin' killed. We got to deal with the devil, unfortunately. Hey, that's actually not so bad. 1 second. Go to the deal with the devil. And just pop your wisps again. I think we're only going to get like 1 charge, but as long as you don't pick up an item, you're okay. I am going to walk it back here. Never let anybody tell you I'm not giving my all on this one. But I lived in a town that is about 2 hours away from Ottawa, Ontario. The closest city that it was playing in, you guessed it, Toronto. No, I'm joking. It was Ottawa. And I was like, you know, that's a tough one to run by your parents when you're 16 years old or 15 years old. Hey, Mom, Dad, could you drive me to Ottawa so I could watch a 2-hour-long movie and then drive me back? Like, you know, I had to wait for that one to come out on DVD. In the whole scheme of things, this is not that bad because the DVD probably cost me like, you know, $15, and I don't even know how much. Back in those days, gas, I don't even know, man. I think it was like $1.25 a liter. Oil was over $100 a barrel. Like, it's one of the few things. I mean, gas prices are up now, but they're down related to where they were, you know, when I was a teenager. Save it, save it, save it, save it. Okay. We're gonna get to Mega Satan. I believe it. I fully, in my heart of hearts, I fully believe it. So I'm just looking, just making sure I'm gonna be good on time today. And I am. We got a lot of time. I like it a lot. Dumb and Dumber. Anyway, Dumb and Dumber 1, I like. I think it's a good movie. I think it's funny at the very least. Now, I can't separate my feelings on the movie Dumb and Dumber from the number of times I saw it well in formative years of my life. Like, it'll forever be... I wouldn't say I'm an impartial judge, let's put it that way. I think anybody who is, like, around my age, or is around my age, is gonna be like, I like it, you know, if you saw it back then. If you saw it now, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd, is an incredible insult. It's a prequel to Dumb and Dumber, and it makes the and by the way, the sequel does the same thing, but it makes the classic prequel mistake of thinking you care about things that were mentioned offhand as like justifications for actions in the first or in the original movie. So, you know, they'll mention something like, hey, remember when like we went to Freda Felcher's house at Oyster Swallow Lane? And they're like, yeah. And you're like, that is literally just like as an offhand gag. And then the prequel is like, you'll finally, I know what you're thinking, Dumb and Dumber fans. Oh, I'm stupid. I skipped our item room just for no reason, basically. Never let anybody tell you I don't give it my all. But they're like, I know what you're thinking, Dumb and Dumber fans. The moment you're waiting for is finally here. You'll get to actually meet Freda Felcher. Another deal with the devil, huh? Like, what a slap in the face, man. Give me invincibility. I don't really care for boss rush. Give me Death's Touch, though. That's some good stuff. And then take me down. I mean, we might have to play an Eddie room here. I would rather not, but we might have to. Time will tell, and we will see. Like, it goes to, like a Star Wars prequel look. I'll cut as some slack, right? Even though I think that 2 of the 3 prequels are really bad, and the 3rd one is actually kind of, like, underrated, and you can figure out for yourself which ones I'm talking about, I'm sure. At least, like, some of the world building that was done, you know, in the original movies, it hints at something cool, right? Shouldn't have been standing there. You get to see Obi-Wan Kenobi at the height of his powers, you know, you get to see the fall of Anakin Skywalker to the dark side, and et cetera, et cetera. We lost our sword, which I think is actually ideal. Come on, man. We got revelations for life, though. Bozo! Bozo did the dub. Sorry, it's just legally you gotta say it. But then, like, whenever there's, like, a comedy sequel, like, is there really anybody out there that's, like, I needed to see, like, how, you know, the story of Harry and Lloyd, like, resolved itself? After they got on the bus with the Hawaiian Tropics bikini models, like, you know, what happened after that? Maybe, I don't know. Just, rather than being funny, I feel like it just answers questions nobody had, you know? It's not something you want out of it. Anyway, I've been talking about comedies, well, specifically, like, this one comedy sequel for, like, I don't know, at this point, like, 20 minutes, I guess? Suffice it to say, by the way, I loved it. I had an amazing time watching the film, because it's so bad. Whoops, my mistake. And that's really what I want. If I get in the right headspace, look, I'm not an idiot necessarily. I love to watch a good movie. Who doesn't? But when I'm distracted, rather than have like a half decent, no thank you, rather than have a half decent movie on in the background, I would much rather have something that's pure garbage on. Because A, you're not missing much, and B, it's a lot easier to, like, you know, get value out of a movie that sucks because you just go, this sucks and I'm smarter than it. But a good movie, you gotta meet it on its own terms, and you gotta be like, oh, maybe I'm gonna cry. Like, I would never put on Minari on my other monitor while I'm, like, you know, making the soy jack face for thumbnails to try to convince people that aren't already subscribed to click on the video. Minari, amazing movie. Great movie. Please, please, 23% chance, deal with the angel. Please. Don't make me play the Eddie rooms. Let's go! I was getting ready to make up some excuse for like, oh, well, you know, we tried our best. We interfaced on the game. The game decided to screw us. We can just use Eden's Soul in here because we got so many red hearts. That's a dream come true. My word. Sacred Heart. Dude, we've had a lot of Sacred Heart lately. We've had Sacred Heart enough that I'm starting to feel like kind of bad. Oh my god. And what's best is that like all this stuff is actually, oh, we don't need Spirit Hearts even if you got them. What's best about this is Sacred Heart isn't even locked up in a wisp. Like that's legit. All right, so this is great. Oh, dude, look at these tiers. Anyway. So I've been watching, and actually Netflix is like the architect from the Matrix sequel. You know, and I say the Matrix sequel because there's only one Matrix movie, but then there was like a fan-made film that came out a couple of years after that was okay. And then the third one I don't speak of, but either way. Netflix it's the 700th time they've done this, and they're becoming increasingly efficient. They're doing a very good job now of recommending me more garbage. And they've kind of given up. Like, before they were like, hey, you know, you want to watch Spotlight? Hey, you want to watch this movie that won Best Picture in 1963? Now they're just like, here's every movie that DJ Qualls has ever been in. Here's the, hey, just for you, the Matthew Lillard collection. And I'm like, thank you, Netflix. OMG, me. It's a dream come true. I'm telling you, by the way, you might not understand, but I only ask, I'm not saying you can't comment on it unless you're a parent yourself, but I only ask for some input from, like, other parents of young babies out there. Like, we're gonna go up here. Yeah, because that's the way we set it up. I'm not in my intellectual peak right now. I don't have chronic fatigue syndrome. I know because I looked it up on the internet today. But I do have all of the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome. But I think it's just all, and I'm not making light of that, by the way, which I understand is like an insidious affliction that people are always like, it's like color blindness, right? Like they always ask you to prove it. If you have chronic fatigue syndrome, you're like, I mean, anytime you tell anybody about it, they're like, yeah, I get tired too, but I got a lot of stuff to do. I don't think it's really like that. Amazing, cure to chronic fatigue syndrome. Just get over it, forehead. Worldwide chronic fatigue syndrome drops to 0%. Like, I'm sure it's frustrating to have it, but all of the symptoms, also, I was like, this rings true as a parent. Tired. Yeah, even though the baby sleeps pretty well now. It's up and down lately, but, you know, irritable, I would say that at the best of times. No matter what, yeah. The only difference is with chronic fatigue syndrome, I think it's inexplicable. You're like, there's no proximate, like, close cause for why I'm feeling this, whereas with a baby, you're like, oh yeah, it's the baby. That makes perfect sense. Dude, what a run here, by the way. We're gonna beat Mega Satan in, like, under 30 minutes on in-game clock? That's pretty amazing. We got an assortment of actually incredible items. Like Infestation 2, Revelations, Parasitoid Tears, Sacred Heart, Small Rock, lots of Tears upgrades. Like, this is just... You can't make this stuff up. I do have to acknowledge, at least to, like, an extent, by the way, we got plus 12 damage for Book of Belial. Oh my god. I think we did great stuff here. Like, I played this run right. And I'm not trying to, you know, soak up all the credit or whatever, even though I'm the only person involved in it, so I guess I should. But, like, we played this run right. We saved our wisps largely to use in the highest value potential situations, and they paid out in the best way they possibly could have, which we didn't have control over, but still. We've had 2 extremely good Mega Satan runs in a row. This is real swell. I'm having a great time playing Isaac. It's just been a good day for games. And therefore the world. Bazinga. Did you know that on The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper won the Nobel Prize in Physics? And then this son of a gun, I'm not messing with you, he had the audacity to say, we won the Nobel Prize in Physics, honey. Or Penny, I should say. And not, we won the Nobel, and not one of the cushy ones like literature or economics. What a scumbag, man. Sheldon, you know what? Sheldon, I would never give the middle finger to young Sheldon, because, you know, he's still figuring himself out. He's still finding himself. Old Sheldon, take one of these. Middle finger emoji.jpg. Call me in the morning. Or better yet, don't. I bet you don't even own a phone. Probably, or I don't know. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, but hey, good run. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. What more is there to say? I'll see you next time. See ya!